44.
Go ahead and get started. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to welcome you all out to the our board meeting here on September 5th, 2023. And we will start off as usual with a pledge of allegiance by Supervisor Mack.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I'd like to welcome you all out here. This is my first time chairing a meeting, so bear with me. May make a mistake or two, but I'll do the best I can. And Hannah, do we have anybody online at all? None? Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and get a motion to approve the minutes, please. You've looked it over.
Mr. Chair, I'll move that we accept and approve the minutes of the regular meeting and work session. There is one name spelling that I'll get with Hannah after the meeting and get that corrected, but it's just, I only saw one little typo. Otherwise, it's great and ready to be approved.
Make that unanimous. Next order is to approve the demands and handwritten warrants to pay our bills.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Second. Make that unanimous. What is it?
It's not Gila Hank, but it is a lizard.
He can talk. Next up, we have our sheriff, PJ, already has 4 items to run over us with. Go ahead, PJ.
Good morning. So, we've got 2 or 3 things here this morning. Welcome everybody else here today also. It's good to see a lot of the county employees here. And for well-deserved awards you'll be getting later on. My first deal today is an approval for a memorandum of understanding regarding an E-Trace internet-based firearm tracing application, which is based through the alcohol tobacco association is what we're going through with that. And basically what that amounts to is number one, doesn't cost anything, which is nice. But it puts any weapons type stuff that goes on, we're able to put that into a different database totally through ATF that will trace and track, and it opens it up to even a bigger realm of people out here to look at, to deal with, that we have our data into this system. Anyway, and it's just ATF one more time trying to help us with serious crimes. And so we're just asking if we can be part of that.
Okay. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I don't see any kind of downside, and with the both regional and national and now international problems with arms and illicit weapons and tracking criminals, it's great to have this offered. It's a no-cost agreement. I think it just is an absolute necessity. So I'd go ahead and move to approve after the rest of the discussion.
I'll make that unanimous.
Thank you, gentlemen. Excuse me. Our next item is we're asking for approval for the National Jail Institutes for the Jail Operations Agreement with NIJO, which is basically they write policy and they keep up on all the legal updates of jails throughout the nation. And they're the ones we want to have on board with us when it comes to jail operations. They oversee many facilities throughout our country. And they do lots of trainings for our detention officers in Arizona. And like I say, their policy is basically what we go by. And so we want to keep our agreement up with them. So they will continue to take care of us, which we all know that's a pretty big liability sitting with that operation.
Any discussion on that?
I did have a question, Mr. Chairman. Sheriff, it shows on our packet, this is the policy development, year 1. There's a policy development and then the maintenance for years 2 to 5. So is this a new enrollment that we're doing, or is this just basically rolling over and starting a new 5-year application, 5-year process?
We've been with them before, so I think it was rolled over.
So, but we have been paying for this before?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I just wasn't clear on that. Didn't know if we were embarking into a brave new program, but that's good. Okay, I'm satisfied, and I certainly am supportive.
Thank you.
I'll make the motion. Okay, I'll make the motion to approve, because that was just discussion, Vice Chair. Approve the National Institute for Jail Operations Agreement.
Yeah, I'll make that unanimous, but it's very vital that we support this. It's important for our jails to be up to date on things like that, so I appreciate you following it, EJ. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, we have a great jail staff also that keeps up on this stuff, and so we're very appreciative to each of them also. We're also asking, our next item will be, we're asking for a 5-year existing contract with Axon Enterprise, which is for our law enforcement body-worn cameras, which of course we all know that's another one of those things that, when I started 36 years ago, I didn't think I'd ever see a camera following me around in Graham County. But unfortunately, that's where things are at now. And I got to tell you, you know, when it comes to camera thing, I'm like a lot of the old timers. Who wants a camera following them every day? Who wants something pointing at them? Who wants this? Who wants that? But I know with our deputies, our detention officers, that when we work with the kind of clientele that we do work with, yeah, our cameras and our footages, they don't change. What comes on them stays there. We don't edit it. We don't do anything to it. And they have way by far helped us in whether it's litigation or just someone bringing us problems of anything and everything. Because there are a lot of people who come to us and complain about different things or concerned about different things. We're able to go back to a lot of these cameras on incidences and show them that, yeah, what you're saying took place, but it wasn't the deputy doing that. It was somebody else. It's like, oh, you were filming it. Yeah. And that was the end of that one. So then they found out that it was them, that they were actually doing the colorful things. So yeah, it's helped us greatly. So we're grateful for Axion and for those things that's helped us take care of our officers and detention officers.
Yeah, it's a very useful tool. It saves a lot of heartache and headache.
Yes.
Both. So, have any further discussion on that?
No, Mr. Chairman, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve that we renew a 5-year agreement with Axon Enterprise for the law enforcement body cameras, and I'm just grateful I don't have to wear one.
The time's coming.
I'll second it.
I'll make that unanimous.
And our last issue that we're wanting to visit with about today is we're asking for approval of 60-day extension for administrative leave with pay per the Graham County Merit System for one of our detention officers that we're looking to an incident with.
Okay. Any discussion on this?
No, Mr. Chairman, this is a personal, private, situation. We don't have all the details ourselves, but when our sheriff and our county manager, their judgment say we need to extend administrative leave for an issue that's under investigation, then I will follow their lead and their request. So I'd make a motion that we do so and approve their 60-day extension.
I agree. I'll second it.
Yeah, I also agree with what you said, Paul. I'll follow up with that. I mean, that's exactly how I feel as well. So I make that a unanimous.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Appreciate your time today.
Next up, we have our county attorney, Scott Bennett.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for allowing me a few minutes. As you're aware, over the last few years, there's been a lot of litigation going on between the state and all the municipalities as a collective against the opioid manufacturers and some of the distributors. As we've been working through that process, there's been a couple of different settlements, first with some of the manufacturers and then with some of the distributors. As a result of that settlement, we were able to bring in a great deal of money to the county. However, that's specifically earmarked, and in fact, it's mandatory under the settlement agreement that we use it to aid in education and opioid recovery. We've had an opportunity to present itself that we think would fall squarely under the purpose of those funds. Specifically, I'm not sure this is the official name, but I'm going to call it the Women's House of Hope. Is that what we're referring to it?
Yes.
Basically, very similar to the male House of Hope. This is a home that we can build as a rest stop to help people overcome their addictions. The idea is once they get to a certain point, they can move into this home and they'll have resources available to them by way of employment, continued recovery, and positive influences so they can continue on the road to sobriety. The project is anticipated to cost upwards of over $500,000. My understanding is they are looking for funding through some private grants as well as other resources. But where this is such a good cause and we've seen such a good impact of the male House of Hope, we've discussed it and we are presenting this to the board as a means of using some of those opioid settlement funds. Again, this is a settlement, this isn't taxpayer money, and this is specifically designated for a purpose such as this. We're somewhat early on in the process. It's likely that if the board approves this today, we'll come back with a more formalized contract in the next probably 30 to 60 days. But this is what we see as the first step in at least getting the approval and exploring making this donation. It's my hope that the board would consider it. And again, we don't have a lot of resources in our county. And this is a great opportunity to use these funds. They've been sitting there for a while because we just don't have enough to start our own program, yet there's not a lot of places that they can be used. So when this opportunity presented itself, it really seemed like a good use of funds, and I'm hoping the board will consider it.
Appreciate that, Scott. I'll probably have to recuse myself on this decision because I am the chairman of the House of Hope and the Women's House of Hope, but I'll give you a little bit of background on it. We have started this project and it's going to take $700,000 to build it. We're upwards, if this funding is approved, we'll be up close to the 500,000 mark, it looks like, so we don't have that far to go. And the success of the Men's House of Hope, along with the county attorney and the courts and the sheriff, and everybody has been so generous and helpful on sending people there, and it's been successful. Probation has worked very heavy with us, and it's just been a very successful program, and I see why not we should move forward to help the women, which has just as big as need or maybe more need than the men. We have logistics on this, and it shouldn't be that hard of a project because we have our feet wet now. But saying that, I'll have to recuse myself on voting on this. Any other discussion?
I feel like the House of Hope's been good. Our valley definitely has a opiate crisis, and I like this program because it's not just a free ride. I feel like they have to work and kind of earn their way, and we have the money designated for this, so.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just say I appreciate the Judge Peterson's efforts and your efforts, Scott. Your awareness. You're much more aware of the needs than we are because you're closer to it. I completely support it. My only lament is that. And it's nothing that can't be fixed in the future, but because of the limitations, the women with the young children who still have their children who are having these problems won't be able to have their kids in there. They'll have to have someone else help them with the kids as they're getting the self-help that they need. But that, along with the fact that you indicated that you've got a contract that you'll put together, which I'm sure will cover some of the stipulations for if the thing gets bogged down and other items if it doesn't go to completion. So, yeah, you're the vice chair. You're running the show. You call for the vote, and I'll give you a motion.
Yeah, I'll make a request to approve to use $160,000 in funds from the National Opioid Settlement to assist with a woman sober living project.
Very good, and I'll second that, Vice Chair. So it passes.
Passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done. You
Thank
didn't
you so
realize
much,
you're going
gentlemen,
to
and
be
I look forward to
stand-in chair
coming.
today.
Yeah, I didn't.
Thank you, Scott.
You bet. We look forward to bringing you an actual contract.
Next up, we have Hannah Duderstadt from the Election Department.
Good morning.
Morning.
Here to request the board's approval to appoint both Ernest Garcia and Janice Evans as precinct committeemen for the Democratic Party. Both are eligible electors of their precincts, and this is for Precinct 3 and Precinct 4. And both those precincts have a seat available. So I'm here to request the board's approval to appoint them.
Any discussions?
Nope, no, both the individuals, they're both fine people who will serve well.
Motion, please.
I'll make a motion to approve to appoint Democratic Precinct Committee persons Ernest G. Garcia and Janice K. Evans.
I'll second the Vice Chairman's motion.
And I will make that unanimous.
All right, thank you.
Next, we have Steve McGowie. McGowie. I'll get it right someday, Steve.
Call me what you want. Good morning. We're here for a public hearing for a request from Rafael Galvin Jr. has applied for a Series 10 liquor license for Family Dollar in Fort Thomas. They have previously not sold alcohol at that location, so this is a new license, and Series 10 is not, I think it's actually a purchase situation where they have to pay for it. It's not part of the liquor lottery like Meg's and Fort Thomas Cafe and Reds are all, I think those are all transferable. This is not a transferable license. It is a new license, and if we have anybody that wants to speak to it, now would be the time, and then if you guys have questions, I'll try to answer them.
I don't see anybody that, we haven't got anything for anybody want to speak on it. It's open for discussion.
Mr. Chair, I have polled two of the three Vilas council members, as well as the chairman of the San Carlos Apache tribe, as well as several other individuals. And because of the problems that we have in that corridor with impaired drivers, both native and non-native, and because of the fact that there are existing businesses that serve the alcohol, so that area is not an alcohol desert. The Arizona Administrative Code, which the Arizona Department of Liquor License Control allows for entities to not approve a license request when it's not in the best interest of the community, and it's not public convenience. It does not require it. And some of the aggravating factors are that, first of all, they haven't shown that there's a demonstrated need for another liquor license in the area, and they have not shown any community support, although I realize that they typically will sell for less than the other retailers in the area. But to me, the misery index and the social problems that creates is not doesn't overcome the reduction in the cost of alcohol. And so I personally, I will oppose that based on that. And I do serve on the Arizona Department of Liquor License Control State Board, and they will have an opportunity to appeal this. But I would note that in hearing a number of Dollar General and other dollar stores, they typically their business model, they come in the community and they serve, especially in some areas where they have food deserts, they're great. And then they, to enhance their bottom line, they're already successful, enhance their bottom line, then they want to add beer and alcohol. And about half the time, the state will, where there's a hearing, will approve or deny based on usually, there's no question that they're qualified and capable of selling it, but the question is it in the community's interest? And that's my feeling, that it's not in the community's interest. And so we'll oppose it. Thank you.
I kind of struggle with this one. I agree with Paul. That area definitely has issues with people driving intoxicated. We have a lot of accidents in that area. But I feel like we also already have 3 there. And I feel like as a property rights, for as far as property rights, I don't know how we can deny these people the opportunity and let the other 3 have theirs. And personally, I would vote to approve it.
Yeah, I agree with what both of you said. My feelings are, as Clay mentioned as well, there are already 3 entities there that have a liquor license. In my personal mind, my own opinion on this is that I don't think another liquor license will increase the amount of alcohol that is brought down that road one way or another. They're going to get alcohol, people are just going to get alcohol where they want. So with the fair competitiveness of issuing this license to this store to be competitive with others that sell it, I think that's not quite fair to deny them what others can, because again, people are going to get their alcohol and they're going to drive. Yes, will it make more available? Yes, probably so. But I understand, Steve, this is just packaged liquor, is that right? Is it hard liquor? Is it just beer, wine? What is it? Do you have
Beer and wine only, no hard liquor, and it must be taken out in its original package and consumed elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah, so that's kind of my feelings on that. I understand where Paul's coming from on that, but I don't know if denying this would help the problem on that road, and I don't want to, again, deny a business the opportunity to make money. So we have a motion to approve or disapprove?
I'll make a motion for approval of the liquor license application for Raphael Galvin Jr., location Family Dollar, 15822 Highway 70, Fort Thomas, Arizona, 85336.
Second.
Make it anonymous.
I will second it.
Thank you.
But call for the vote, though.
Call for the vote.
Yeah, because when you've got you probably want a roll call vote on this.
Okay, we'll call for a vote then. Roll call, please.
Supervisor David, no.
Supervisor Mack, yes.
Supervisor Howard, yes. So it carries. So the vote carries.
Thank you.
Next, we have Steve Bouzis from our Highway Department. That's 3 items.
Good morning.
Morning, Steve.
Sometimes we feel like we need a liquor license, but we'll make it. The first one is approval of the lease agreement with Caterpillar Financial Service Corporation to the lease of 2 new graders. Clay, you were 7 years ago, you set us up on this, and it's already been 7 years already, so passing it on to Mitch. So what's in your packet, we're asking for 2 in the budget here, and we asked to lease 2 motor graders. We're turning 2 in. The only difference is the amount of the lease. Just, it was a mix-up between us and Caterpillar and what the payoff was gonna be, but we don't usually make balloon payments, so that's what the difference is. So I'm asking for approval for the lease of the 2 motor graders.
Discussions?
So it changed because we didn't make the balloon payment at
Yeah.
the end of the term.
Yeah.
So that personally, I worked for Caterpillar, for Empire, and this program is a really good program for government entities. It piggybacks off of a bid that was won by the city of Tucson. It allows government entities to have new equipment at a good price, way cheaper than the general public. If my figures are right, it puts our cost of ownership at about $42 an hour for a brand new motor grader. And that's, in my opinion, that's a good deal. It's a cheap cost of ownership. It allows us to have good warranty. Our graders are important because we have 600 miles of road in the county to maintain. Obviously in monsoon season, they're out and about all the time, and it's not gonna be a good time to have one down. So I'm all for it. I think it's a good deal for the county and for the public as well.
Thank you. I appreciate your expertise, Vice Chairman, in this area, and in a perfect world, and we can't go back in time, but I would have staggered and not have both up at the same time. That way, if we have if we have a financial reversal and have to, of course, we can just pay for one of them and let the other one go, but I just would prefer to have had it staggered, but I do like the arrangement, and I'm supportive. I'll make a motion. And Mr. Chair, do you have a comment on that?
No, I just think it's, Supervisor Mack, your comments were really good comments, and explained it all very well. I appreciate your expertise as well in that field. So appreciate it very much. Go ahead and look for a motion.
I'll move to approve the lease of 2 new road graders.
I'll second it.
Make it unanimous.
Just to add to that, if the county if we were in a hardship, these leases can be terminated at any time, no cost to the county. We don't have to pay for them, we just turn them in, roll them in, and
No penalty at all? Steve?
No.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Second one is approval for additional $43,572 in unbudgeted capital for the motor grader lease. We ended up having to make one more lease payment, and it came into this year instead of last year, so that's what that's about.
Any discussion on this?
Motion for approval, since we've got a shortfall that we take funding, and as I understand, it's funding from the Highway Department to cover the $43,572 shortfall.
I'll make a motion for the approval of additional $43,572 in unbudgeted capital for motor grader lease payments.
And I'll second.
I'll make that unanimous.
Thank you, guys. The third is an approval and intergovernmental agency agreement with Pinell County for Graham County Highway Department to participate in their annual safety rodeo program to promote the importance of safety first in the workplace. We've attended this probably 5 times. In the 2020 season, they didn't have it at all, and they kicked it back up in 2022. I'm proud to say one of our employees is a 2-time champion at the equipment rodeo, so it's good for them to go. They participate. If they go, they have to participate in the events that they do. It's all equipment. It's a good motivation. They all love it. They go over and come back in the same day, so there's no additional expense, but we just cover our costs for the equipment rodeo, and it's good for the guys.
What kind of events are they, Steve? Just running equipment and?
Yeah, like motor grader, for instance, they'll have blue tops and they'll put bottle caps on the top of them, and you got to go knock them off without hitting a spoon on the end of a backhoe or track hoe. You pick up an egg or whatever, just loader vents and all kinds of stuff.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Any other discussion?
I would note, Mr. Chairman, it's $40 a day. Do we end up hauling equipment for them to compete with?
No,
Okay, so,
they have everything.
okay, wonderful.
We usually, if we need to, we try to just rent a van for the day so everybody can ride in the same vehicle.
Get a motion?
I'll move that we approve the IGA for our highway department to participate in the annual safety rodeo.
I'll second it.
Make it unanimous.
And this is in December, so it's not during our real busy time too, so it's good for the guys.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
Next we have, is this yours, Dustin?
Yeah.
Next we have Dustin Welker coming up for the approval of proclamation of Child Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At times, we're approached by members of the community that request a proclamation by the board, basically recognizing a certain event or activity. This request came from the Chamber of Commerce on behalf of Tori Cranford at Nathaniel's Childhood Cancer Foundation. Last year, there was a mural painted on the site of Kempton's that you've probably all seen in recognition of this proclamation and of those that have fought against childhood cancer. So we do have a proclamation to read if the board wishes. So I'll open that up for discussion.
Any discussion? Would you like it read?
Yeah, I found it really illuminating.
Okay.
And I think it's, there's quite a bit of information that it just kind of gives us an awareness of the significance of the problem.
Okay, go ahead. Can you read it, please?
Whereas September is recognized as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month to recognize the children and families affected locally, nationally, and worldwide by childhood cancers, and whereas 1 in 285 children in the United States will be diagnosed with cancer by their 20th birthday, and whereas 46 children per day, or 16,790 children per year, are diagnosed with cancer in the U.S., and whereas the average age of diagnosis is 6 years old, and whereas 80% of childhood cancer patients are diagnosed late and with metastatic disease, and whereas on average there's been 0.6% increase in incidence per year since the mid-1970s, resulting in an overall incidence increase of 24% over the last 40 years. And whereas 2/3 of childhood cancer patients will have chronic health conditions as a result of their treatment toxicity, with 1/4 being classified as severe to life-threatening. And whereas the causes of childhood cancer are largely unknown and more studies are needed to understand which treatments work best for children, and whereas cancer treatment for children often must differ from traditional adult treatments to take into account children's development needs and other factors. There are more types, variances, and childhood cancers than adult cancers. And whereas there are hundreds of children being treated for cancer in Arizona, now therefore I, John Howard, Chairman of the Graham County Board of Supervisors, by authority vested in me, do hereby proclaim September 2023 Arizona Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
Thank you, Dustin. Do we need a motion to approve this? Could I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve for the approval of the proclamation for Childhood Cancer Awareness Month.
Pleased to second it.
Me as well. I will make that unanimous as well. Next up, we have a chance for the board to give a brief summary of the activities they've been doing over the last few weeks. If they would like to share that, I would start with our manager, Dustin Welker, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll give an update on some projects and activities throughout the county. In 2020, we partnered with the Trust for Public Land, City of Safford, and Town of Thatcher, and created a conceptual Gila River linear park design that runs from basically the Safford Bridge, a little to the east, all the way to the Thatcher Bridge. And this linear park is basically a walking path that connects already several miles of walking paths throughout Safford and Thatcher and in the county. A few months ago, the Trust for Public Land, in partnership again with the county, put in an ask for congressional directed spending to Representative Juan Ciscomani's office, and we were granted that money, which is $1.3 million. So there's definitely some movement on this, and with that movement and opportunity to further this project along, we've been working with the Trust for Public Land last couple of weeks and applied through ADOT's Transportation Alternative Program for design for 4.5 miles of this linear path, which is basically covers the easements that we currently have along the Gila River. We asked for $487,000 for this design. It requires a 5.7% match. And we've submitted that grant to ADOT. We do have $200,000 budgeted for this year for matching money, so that match would come out of that $200,000 if we're awarded for it. So we would come to you at a future date if we're successful there, but we are continuing to try to find outside money to find that, to fund that project. In our planning and zoning, I just wanted to report that they're working on researching possible opportunities and candidates to rewrite our zoning ordinance. One that I feel like is a good possibility is through Civic Plus. That's who hosts our website, and unbeknownst to us, they actually have a team of attorneys that could review that for us and help us with that project. We'll continue to look at other options. I just wanted to report that Steve and his team are working on that and looking at some good options that would be possibly quite a bit less expensive than we budgeted. So good news there. In our maintenance department, they've began looking at our Central Park project. Matt is working on getting bids to drill wells over there, and they're beginning to move around a little dirt and work on that. And we're excited to see that little project come to fruition. Over at the fairgrounds, we continue to work on our painting project and also our re-roofing. We have 4 ramadas, a bathroom, and our 4 exhibit buildings that the contractor has been working on, and we hope and anticipate they'll be done mid to late this month on all of those. Trey and Jim and the crew, they've been working really hard too on getting AYSO up and running, our adult men's league, and Trey and Rose are definitely have their hands full with the fair and are working very hard to get that going. We've had some good success with hiring temporary workers this year, and Trey and HR, Cindy Norris Blake, have done a really good job getting those online, and I believe we're very close, if not already there, on getting all our temporary workers for the fair. I also wanted to thank, we opened that up to our employees too that are interested in working some extra hours, and we had some really good participation this year. I just wanted to thank the department heads and those that volunteered to help us out. It's great to have some permanent employees out there too to help keep eyes on everything. So thank you. On the Gila River Fire Mitigation Project, that's building the fire breaks all up and down the Gila River. We are working with Cramey Construction, and we anticipate starting that on October 15th, which is the soonest we can actually get in there because of the environmental restrictions that we have, but that project should consume on October 15th. One report on out at the fairgrounds too, one last one for the fairgrounds. City of Safford has finished the reclaimed water line that goes from their treatment plant to the fairgrounds. We're not quite ready to start supplying the fairgrounds with that reclaimed water. They have the old sewer ponds behind the reclaimed plant that they're lining in clay right now. Any excess reclaimed water will go into that pond. And they also have the Smith well, which is a well just to the north of the Safford Bridge that they have successfully ran that line under our bridge and connected it into that pond. So they're ready to start, or very close to start flowing that Smith well water also to supplement the reclaimed water. They're also working on finishing up their pumping station, and once that is complete, they will start pumping that reclaimed water up to the fairgrounds. I still think we're a number of weeks away, but we are getting close. We've had questions come up lately about the quality of that reclaimed water, so I requested a certificate from them from ADEQ, which does show that their reclaimed water is rated at A+, which is the highest rating possible. So it is good water. Not to drink, but to use on landscaping, it's great. Finally, I'll just report on the highway department. They have been very busy. They've hit the ground running to start this fiscal year with their new budget. They've completed installing a low water crossing out at Clough Ranch Road, which includes 4 18-inch culverts and a concrete apron pad to go over that. They've been working on the Stockton flood control channel and have been able to clear out, create capacity, clear the weeds in there, and they're also working on a maintenance plan to more regularly spray the weeds in there and keep them down. So we'll continue to report on that. They've also been on several roads from one end of the county to the other, prepping for our annual fog seal, which is a pavement preservation program that we do every year. And lastly, for the last week or so, they've been staging materials, the culverts for the Fort Thomas River crossing. They set they're out there this week with our TRACCO and just begun taking that top off. And we hope, best case scenario, that will take them 4 weeks. So they did a good job last week putting up our electronic sign, letting all the residents know that it would be closed, hard closure starting today, and also put in the diversions in the water last week too to hopefully start drying out one side of that bridge so we can get in there. And I think with that, Mr. Chairman, that's my report from our staff report.
Thank you. Supervisor David.
Thank you, Chairman. On August the 22nd, a Tuesday, following our last board meeting on Monday, I joined with Dustin Wilker and pleased to have signed the closing documents for the property next door, the Weech property, which gives us in the future an area to expand the campus and keep everything in one area here. That was lots of work and I think very cost effective. Was real pleased that we acquired that for the future county needs. The next day attended a webinar for water quality standards, and this is a triennial review for Arizona Department of Environmental Quality. No current impacts locally, but always has the potential, any kind of a regulatory agency to surprise us with new hurdles to jump over. The next day was in a executive director recruitment meeting for SEGO. We've got a retiring director, and so we have a short list of candidates to interview next Monday. Also on Friday, the 25th, was pleased to go out to Bylas for the Clarence Wesley Hospital groundbreaking on the road to the Mount Turnbull. And that'll be mostly a clinic, but also there'll be some inpatients there. On the 28th, Monday, there was a phone call where we discussed a legislative proposal that to determine its merits and whether or not County Supervisors Association will hear that and whether there's an opportunity to put together legislation that will benefit Graham County and our area. And then later that morning, I chaired a Rural Transportation Advocacy Council meeting, and this is to try to increase the amount of funding for rural Arizona for highway and local projects. The following day, Wednesday, 2 days later, the 30th, Safford Lions Mental Health Awareness 5K and 10K run. I'm on the board for that, and we're going to add a BMX race and also a trail bike race around the Gila Discovery Park campus, and that'll take place the week after the fair on a Saturday. And then following, I went to went to Friends of the Library. We've got a radio auction coming up the 27th of this month, and I'm on the board with that, and we're looking for items and then also working on publicity, getting donors, and raising money for not only the library, but also for the endowment fund for future library needs. And then finished off the week with the Substance Abuse Awareness Annual Event. Chairman and I attended that at the courthouse, and survivors and sadly family members of people who didn't survive their substance abuse problems. That was about an hour-long meeting, a gathering. So that's my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Matt?
I don't have anything.
You'll pass? I'll be brief. On the 23rd, Dustin and I had the opportunity to go and see a demonstration on a new drip irrigation system that's offered to the farmers of the valley, and the savings that it'll bring is phenomenal, and the cost is so much less than the traditional drip systems that they have in. I think this will be a great additive and tool for our farmers to get on board to save water and make litigation possibly better with the tribes. And on the 24th, I attended the Farm Bureau dinner, elections and presentations, and Stephanie Smallhouse, president of the Farm Bureau, was there, and she gave a very in-depth talk of the future of farming and water, of course. It was very well attended. Delbert Householder's family got recognition there, as well as the Klontz families for special recognitions in the farming world. On the 28th, I had the opportunity to tour OHS with Representative Siscomani, and he was very impressed of what the town of Pima, little town of Pima, has to offer to the world with this fantastic business of the grants that they have done. And I believe he signed up for their whole deal there. Him and his wife will be now a customer of OHS, it sounds like. And then he toured the Pima Fire Department, which he was appropriated $2 million to help build their new fire department in Pima, which is fantastic that they've been really raising a lot of money to try to get this great need for the Pima Fire Department. Then on the 29th through the 31st, I had the opportunity to go to Tucson and attend the League of Cities and Towns, which was very interesting. They seem to promote more metropolitan type policies than the rural policies, and there were several requests for next year's league to talk more rural, maybe breakout sessions for the rural towns, because we seem to sometimes get ignored. So I was very glad to hear that. And on the first, I chaired the House of Hope committee meeting there at the House of Hope and discussed more of the women's house and logistics of it and how we'll go forward. And I'm very happy that we were awarded this $160,000 today. And then on the first also, I attended the Overdose Awareness Month. And then I also want to give a special shout out to our highway department for the hard work they've been doing. It's been unbelievable what they've been accomplishing in the last few months, and their ability to move forward and supply our roads and the road graders and the projects we've put on them. So that's very, very much appreciated. Thank you very much. That'd be the end of my report. Next, we'll have the presentation of the year's service award that we're all here waiting for anxiously to get your picture took and handshaking. So
And check, to make sure you get your
and
check.
and your money, exactly. So we'll go forward with that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is the fifth year that we've done this. So those that are getting recognized today are the very last of all those that are to be recognized. So we appreciate you for your patience, for sitting through a 50-minute long meeting, which is longer than usual, and for waiting 5 years to be recognized for the first time with the rest of your colleagues. I just wanted to take just a moment, Mr. Chairman, to just thank everyone, all you department heads, all the employees that are here for everything that you do every single day. We have 250 plus employees at Graham County. We have 22 departments, which is basically like 22 businesses within one business. And we rely heavily on all of you every day to be experts in your own field. There's not one person at the county that knows what everyone does. And we appreciate you so much for all you do, the diversity of jobs that you're asked to do and do so well each and every day. We truly are public servants, and that's what we're asked to do. And we're here because we want to serve and we want to help out the community. And I just wanted to say thank you for everyone that's here, and thank you for coming to be recognized. We're not giving you a bag of gold to walk away with, so we apologize for that. But those that will be recognized at 5 years, we have a certificate, we have a lapel pin, and a check for $50, $100, $150, $200, and so on and so forth for every 5 years of service. It is, all the taxes and everything are taken out, so it's netted out down to that 50, 100, and 150. And I just want to thank Julie and Jennifer now for doing that, because it's a pain to try to get that exact 50, 100, 150, but that was always been our goal, to walk away with that number and not $34.63 after all your taxes are taken out and everything. So anyway, thank you for being here. I don't know, supervisors, if you want to say something now or later.
Yeah, I'd like to say, sometimes our employees seem to think they're ignored, but they are the most important thing that makes this county run the way it does. And I think I've seen, since I've been here, the morale of our employees, elected officials, everyone has perked up, and actually people want to come to work for the county now. We're getting applications for a change, for people wanting to come here. But I just want to express my appreciation. I've been here going on 3 years. I still don't know every employee by no means, but I'm learning it. But I just want you to know how much I appreciate you guys. Without you, we cannot be successful. And I feel like our county is successful, and we're moving and we're doing good things. So I just want to thank each and every one of you very, very much. Appreciate you. Any other words?
Yeah, I told the ladies in our office, I was sitting in my office on Thursday and I was listening to them laugh. They're always laughing and happy. And I told them it's important for people to be happy where they work. And if you go to bed on Sunday night and you're not excited to get up and go to work on Monday, you should find something different to do, because a person should be happy at their job. And I feel like our county is very blessed with good people and people that are dedicated and do a good job. And I tell people, so back in 2005, I worked at the highway department, and I always tell people that's the best job I ever had. I truly enjoyed it. And my wife is a lot harder to work for than the county was. So sometimes I wish I still worked at the highway department, but just want you to know we are truly blessed with good people here, and we appreciate everybody and the service that you provide for the people in the county.
Thanks. We considered and approved leases on heavy metal equipment, road graders, over probably $800,000 or more worth of equipment. But employees are our most valuable resource, much more valuable. And how you're perceived, what you do, how you present yourselves, how you represent the county makes all the difference. We've seen just things are better all the time. They can be a lot better, but they're better, and we realize that. We appreciate it, and we don't take it for granted. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. So with that, the way we will do this, if the board would line up to the right of me, we have your name here alphabetically, starting with 5 years up to 25 years. And when we call your name, if you'll come up here with your department head and come and shake the board's hand, they'll give you your check, your certificate, and your lapel pin. And then Barbara will take a picture of you and the board and your department head. So with that, board, if you'll come line up. And afterwards, when we are all done, if everyone will line up on that north wall there by the logo, and we'll take a picture over there with everyone. So with that, Hannah Duderstadt, 5 years. Yeah, I guess I am kind of. Jared Kiefer. McCoy, you already broke it. Seth Larson. Congratulations. Come in for a picture. Come on in, guys. Justin Mills, 5 years. Mandy Perman, 5 years.
I'm taking McCoy's place, Jared, if you'd like to come in.
Brenda Rogers, 5 years. Julie Spencer, 5 years. He's out sick today, but Timothy Weed, 5 years. Dustin Welker, 5 years. Oh, Brett Bluth, 10 years. Robert Lucero, 10 years. John Smallwood, 10 years. Justin Gregg, 15 years. Sergeant Luzania, 15 years. Commander TJ Perez, 15 years. Steve Pouzas, 15 years. Virgie Romero, 15 years.
Get your money.
I can even make everybody look younger.
Oh, that's good.
One more. Oh, that's a good Gets tired like the rest of us. Gotcha.
Nancy Salazar, 15 years.
Gotcha. One more. Hold on. There. Gotcha.
Missy Spoon, 15 years. You just William McCoy for that, Carl? I heard that. All right, now to 20 years. 20 years, Esther Gonzalez.
There we go. 1, 2, 3.
TJ Juarez, 20 years.
There. That's it. Yeah.
We have Carrie Trainer, 20 years, but she had a planned vacation. We'll recognize her later. And we have 125 year. Last but not least, Barbara.
That's amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay, I haven't done high school yearbook in a long time. 1, 2, 3. We're gonna flash.
Julie, you do the thing, so you're all right.
Just want to thank you all again, how much we appreciate you. It's quite an accomplishment, 25 years and 20 years, and all of it's a great accomplishment, but we just appreciate you very much. Is it any call to the public? I don't see any. Okay, so we will now go, I need a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we go into executive session to discuss a lawsuit for property tax lawsuit.
I'll second that.
Unanimous. Thank you. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, let's do a group photo, please, with all those that received the award. And we'll let the department heads have this one off. So just those that received their award, please. And the board.
does that motion still stand or does it need?
Okay, so no people outside of you. Okay, everyone in the back. Guys, we're gonna need some front row. You want full chair?
I'd like to, that if you had it, if you had it, even in last year they did study that. Seemed to be. I don't know if that's gonna end up being true.
Brett, turn people aside. There you go. And then you guys can do a little closer. Okay, Robert, find your spot. On the count of three. 1, 2, 3.
Still causing cough. That seems to be the thing that just always gets me. How is it affecting my commitments? It doesn't seem to really be.
Well, let's go see what this lawsuit's about. Motion to move out of our executive session and back into general session.
So moved.
Second.
I'll second that. Sorry.
Unanimous. Okay, we're back into regular session, and we need to call for a vote on our decision on accepting the proposal from South Gas tax lawsuit. Do I have a motion to accept?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move that we accept the offer of judgment that on behalf of Graham County, that Graham County accepts the offer of judgment for tax years for as suggested by the AG's office
I'll
in
second
the
it.
Southwest Gas case. Okay.
I'll second that.
I'll make that unanimous.
Would on the record just specify the tax court case number on that offer of judgment?
Tax course number. Where's that at?
Next page.
This one?
Circuit TX.
Yes, this judgment, tax number is TX 2021-000366.
And I'll amend my friendly amendment to my earlier motion, amending to include the tax number.
I'll second that.
Now make it unanimous. With that being said, there's nothing else to discuss, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.